Welcome to my channel English Achievement. If you like my video, please like and share it, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Have you ever looked at someone who is excellent at many things? Maybe they can speak several languages, play an instrument, write well, understand finance, build a business, solve problems fast, and wondered how can one person be good at so many things. Most people think these individuals were born gifted, but that is not the truth. The real secret is something else. Mastery is not talent. Mastery is a system. If you follow the system, you can master anything. Whether you want to become fluent in English, learn coding, improve your public speaking, build a business, or learn 5 skills at the same time, the system is the same. And the surprising part is this: you don't need high IQ. You don't need perfect memory. And you don't need natural talent. You only need the right method. Today I will show you the same methods used by polymaths throughout history, people who mastered many different fields. These methods are simple, powerful, and anyone can follow them, including you. If you stay till the end of this video, you will understand exactly how to master anything in life step by step. Let's begin. Method 1. Fall in love with learning, not with outcomes. Most people fail before they even begin because their mind is tied to the outcome instead of the journey. They say, I want to become fluent in English. I want to become rich. I want to become successful. I want to master this skill fast. At first, these goals feel inspiring, but soon they become heavy. When your focus stays only on the final result, you start to feel impatient. You begin comparing yourself with people who have been practicing for years. You look at your own slow progress and think, maybe I am not good enough. Maybe I don't have talent. Maybe it will take too long. That pressure destroys your motivation. That pressure creates frustration. And that frustration is the reason why most people quit before they even see real improvement. They think the problem is lack of talent. But the real problem is lack of patience. Polymaths, people who master many skills, do not think this way. They understand something very important. Mastery becomes impossible when you only chase the result. But mastery becomes natural when you fall in love with the process. When you truly enjoy learning, you stop counting how long it will take. You stop worrying about who is better than you. You stop checking the finish line every day. Instead, you enjoy every small improvement. You feel happy even when you improve by 1%. People who love the process feel light, relaxed, and confident. They don't burn out. They don't get bored. They don't rush. They simply keep learning step by step. And that is why they eventually reach the top while others give up. Think of someone who loves reading. They don't read because they want to show off. They don't read because they want to win a competition. They read because they find joy in each page. And because they enjoy it, they read more than others. And because they read more, they learn faster and gain deeper knowledge. In the same way, someone who enjoys practicing English every single day, even for just 10 or 15 minutes, will always improve. Naturally, their fluency grows slowly but steadily. Their confidence increases. Their vocabulary expands. They are not forcing themselves. They are simply enjoying the process. That is the secret. The truth is simple. The people who love the process always beat the people who love the results. When you fall in love with learning, you become unstoppable. No challenge feels too difficult. No mistake feels too painful. No delay feels disappointing. You start appreciating the journey because you know that each day you practice, you become a stronger person. Falling in love with learning is not about ignoring the outcome. It's about not letting the outcome control your emotions. When you focus on the process, the outcome comes naturally. So the first method is extremely powerful. Don't chase mastery, chase curiosity. Curiosity is the engine that drives learning. Every master, every polymath, every genius you admire started with one simple spark: curiosity. They asked questions. They explored. They tried things just for fun. They observed the world with interest. And, because their curiosity stayed alive for a long time, they slowly became exceptional. If you stay curious, you will never feel tired. You will never feel lost. You will never feel bored. Curiosity is the fuel that keeps you moving forward long after others have quit. If you protect your curiosity and fall in love with the learning process, mastery will become your natural destiny. Method 2: learn by doing, not by thinking. Most people delay their progress because they believe they must learn everything first before taking action. They think they need to feel fully ready. They think they need more preparation, more books, more tutorials, or more confidence. So they keep saying, "Let me study a little more. Let me prepare a little longer. Let me wait for the right moment." But here is the truth. The right moment rarely comes. Waiting does not build skill. Thinking alone does not create mastery. Only action transforms potential into ability. You can read about swimming for 10 years, but you will still sink if you never enter the water. You can watch hundreds of videos about public speaking, but your fear will never disappear until you actually stand in front of an audience and speak. You can study business for decades, but all your knowledge will remain theoretical until you start one, no matter how small. Real learning exists in action, not in endless preparation. Most people remain trapped in planning, thinking, and imagining results, never actually moving toward mastery. The moment they try to act, fear, doubt, and hesitation stop them. But polymaths understand that mastery is built in the arena of practice, not in the comfort of thought. Polymaths approach learning differently. They learn the basics quickly and immediately start practicing. They do not waste precious time trying to understand every detail before beginning. They do not wait for perfect confidence, for ideal circumstances, or for complete understanding. They take small steps, make adjustments, and grow through experience. Books, courses, and videos are valuable tools, but experience is the real classroom and action is the real teacher. Every mistake, every attempt, every repeated effort strengthens the brain and deepens understanding. When you act, your mind becomes fully engaged. You notice details you never saw before. You learn what works, what doesn't, and why. Each cycle of doing, failing, and correcting reinforces mastery in a way that thinking alone never can. Learning by doing has extraordinary benefits. First, you learn faster because the brain remembers active experience better than passive information. The pathways formed by doing something physically or practically are far stronger than those created by reading or observing. Second, you gain confidence naturally because you see improvement through your own effort. Confidence is not built by imagining success. It is built by doing small things successfully step by step. Third, action destroys fear. Fear grows in silence and overthinking. But the more you act, the more fear diminishes. Fourth, you discover your weaknesses early. When you identify gaps in your knowledge or skill, you can fix them immediately, which accelerates growth. Fifth, you build experience, the most reliable foundation for mastery. Knowledge without application is useless. Experience is what separates someone who knows from someone who can truly perform. Think about learning English as an example. Many learners spend years studying grammar books but cannot speak fluently. Why? Because reading alone does not teach speaking. Fluency comes from speaking, listening, writing, reading aloud, and practicing consistently. If you want to master English, you must engage daily, make mistakes, correct them, and repeat. Mastery does not grow in silence. It grows in action. When you learn by doing, your progress accelerates exponentially and your skills become practical, usable, and permanent. This is life-changing because it shifts you from passive learning to active mastery. Once you adopt the mindset of learn by doing, you stop waiting for the perfect moment and start growing every day. You become someone who turns knowledge into skill, ideas into results, and dreams into reality. Thinking prepares you, but doing transforms you. If you truly want to master anything in life, step into the arena and let action be your teacher, your guide, and your pathway to excellence. Method 3: Microlearning. Small daily practice, massive lifetime results. Most people believe that mastering a skill requires long, intense study sessions. They think that if they cannot dedicate several hours every day, they cannot improve. They imagine that progress comes only from extreme effort, long tutorials, and exhaustive study. But the human brain does not work that way. The brain learns best in small, consistent doses, not in long, exhausting marathons. Imagine I told you to study English for 3 hours every day. At first, you might try it once or twice, but soon you would feel tired, stressed, or bored. Life would interrupt you. Work, family, responsibilities, or fatigue would take over. Motivation would drop. You would miss one day, then 2, then a week, and quickly the habit would die. This happens because the brain naturally resists heavy pressure. But now imagine practicing for just 15 minutes a day. You would immediately say, "Yes, I can do that." Those 15 minutes may seem tiny, even insignificant, but when repeated consistently, they become unbelievably powerful over time. Microlearning leverages this principle. Small repeated actions create enormous results. This is the secret of microlearning, a method widely used by polymaths, elite performers, skilled artists, and successful learners around the world. Microlearning is about breaking big skills into tiny, manageable pieces and practicing them every day. Instead of overwhelming yourself by trying to learn everything at once, you focus on simple, consistent actions that take minutes, not hours. Even a 1% improvement every day compounds into massive growth over months and years. Polymaths understand that mastery is never achieved through one giant leap. It is achieved through thousands of small, deliberate steps. Each small step creates neural pathways, strengthens memory, and reinforces discipline. These tiny efforts work in harmony with the brain's natural learning process. When learning is stress-free, the brain adapts faster, enjoys repetition, and stores knowledge more effectively. Small daily practice is not just easy. It is scientifically more effective for long-term mastery. When you practice something small every day, 3 major transformations begin. First, your brain builds strong neural connections. Think of these connections as small roads inside your mind. Every time you practice, these roads expand, smoothen, and become automatic. Skills that once felt difficult start to feel natural. Second, you develop discipline without pressure. 15 minutes feels doable. It is simple, enjoyable, and easy to commit to. When learning feels easy, consistency becomes effortless. And consistency more than intensity is the key to mastery. Third, microlearning allows continuous improvement even during busy days. Life will always bring work, school, family, and emergencies. But practicing a few minutes fits into almost any schedule. These small, consistent actions maintain momentum and prevent your growth from stopping. Microlearning removes pressure entirely. You don't need perfect conditions, long study sessions, silence, or special tools. You only need one simple rule. Do it every day, even if it's small. Consistency beats intensity. Frequency beats duration. Small steps beat big jumps. A mountain is not shaped by one giant storm, but by millions of tiny touches, from wind, rain, and time. Similarly, your skills grow steadily day by day. with repeated small actions. Even the tiniest daily effort, when compounded, can produce monumental results. If you apply microlearning to English, fitness, business, reading, or any other skill, the effect over a lifetime is enormous. 15 minutes today may feel tiny, but 1 year later you will be far ahead of those who relied on long sporadic study sessions and gave up when it became difficult. Microlearning transforms learning from a stressful obligation into a natural lifestyle. When learning becomes a lifestyle, mastery is no longer a dream. It becomes inevitable. Your mind becomes sharper, your skills stronger, and your growth unstoppable. The key is simple. Small daily steps, repeated without fail, lead to massive lifetime results. This is the superpower of microlearning, the secret that allows polymaths and elite performers to achieve mastery without burning out, without stress, and without feeling overwhelmed. Start small. Start today. 15 minutes a day may be all it takes to change your life forever. Method 4. Multi-learning. Learn several skills in rotation. Many people believe that learning multiple skills at the same time is impossible. They think, if I try to learn many things, I will fail. I should focus on only one skill at a time. This mindset limits potential and keeps most people average. But polymaths, the people who achieve mastery in multiple areas, think differently. They do not limit themselves to one skill. Instead, they approach learning in a smart and organized way. They rotate their skills, practicing different abilities on different days or at different times. For example, on Monday they might focus on writing. On Tuesday they might learn coding. On Wednesday they might study psychology. On Thursday they might dedicate time to fitness. And on Friday they might work on public speaking. By rotating skills instead of cramming them all at once, they avoid mental fatigue and make steady progress in multiple areas simultaneously. This rotation system has several powerful benefits. First, it keeps the brain fresh and engaged. When the brain is constantly stimulated with new information or challenges, it forms new neural pathways more easily. Research shows that rotating learning tasks improves memory, attention, and creativity. It prevents the brain from becoming bored or stuck in a single routine. Second, learning different skills creates connections between knowledge. The brain starts to see patterns and relationships across different areas. For example, learning English improves your ability to communicate, which naturally helps in business negotiations. Business knowledge strengthens leadership skills, which in turn improves your ability to manage your personal and professional life. Fitness training builds discipline and focus, which supports every other skill you are learning. Suddenly, all your efforts are connected, creating a network of skills that support each other, instead of isolated skills that remain separate. Another key advantage of multi-learning is flexibility. When you rotate skills, you are not dependent on mastering one thing perfectly before moving to the next. You can adjust based on your mood, energy, or daily schedule. This makes learning sustainable because you never feel stuck or overwhelmed. It also allows the brain to rest and consolidate learning. Polymaths use this principle to prevent burnout. They understand that mastery is not about pushing one skill to the extreme immediately. It is about steady, consistent growth across multiple areas over time. By rotating their focus, they continue progressing in all directions without feeling stressed. The biggest benefit of multi-learning is creativity. When you know a little about many things, your brain starts to combine ideas in unique ways. You begin solving problems faster, generating innovative ideas, and connecting information that others cannot. Specialists may be experts in one area, but polymaths become smarter in general. Their minds are flexible, adaptive, and ready to face complex challenges. They are not limited by a single skill or a single way of thinking. They understand that true intelligence comes from connecting knowledge, not hoarding it in separate silos. If you apply multi-learning to your own life, you will notice that your brain becomes sharper. Your learning accelerates and your skills multiply faster than you ever imagined. Instead of mastering only one skill, you create a system of skills that support each other. You build a strong network of abilities that strengthens every area of your life. Multi-learning is not just a strategy for learning. It is a strategy for thinking, creating, and achieving at a higher level. By rotating skills, you unlock your potential to grow smarter, faster, and stronger every single day. Method 5. Seek failure because failure is your greatest teacher. Most people avoid failure at all costs. They feel embarrassed, ashamed, or frustrated when they make mistakes. They believe that failure means they are not talented enough, not smart enough, or simply incapable. This fear of failure keeps them stuck, prevents them from taking risks, and limits their potential. They aim for perfection from the start. And because perfection is impossible, they give up before making meaningful progress. But polymaths, the people who master multiple skills and excel in different areas, think differently. They understand that failure is not the enemy. Failure is feedback. Failure is information. It shows you exactly what is not working. It highlights the weak areas that need improvement. Failure is not a sign of weakness or inadequacy. It is a signal that you are trying, learning, and growing. In fact, every great thinker, inventor, artist, entrepreneur, and scientist has failed countless times before achieving success. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a crucial part of the process, an unavoidable step toward mastery. Every master has fallen, stumbled, and made mistakes. Only they use those mistakes as stepping stones. Imagine two people learning a new skill. The first person is afraid to fail. He hesitates, moves slowly, and avoids challenges. He studies endlessly without ever applying knowledge in real situations. He fears judgment, criticism, and mistakes. Progress is slow, almost invisible. The second person acts boldly. He experiments, makes mistakes every day, learns from them, and corrects his errors immediately. Who will grow faster? Who will develop stronger skills? The answer is clear. The second person mistakes themselves are harmless. The real enemy is fear. Fear paralyzes action. Fear stops learning. Fear prevents growth. The moment you remove fear, you unlock rapid development. You will progress faster than 90% of people who remain trapped in hesitation, doubt, and worry about perfection. The path to mastery is blocked not by mistakes but by fear of making them. Courage, on the other hand, accelerates learning. So how do you embrace failure and become fearless? The key is simple. Practice in private. When no one is watching, you are free to experiment, explore, and fail without shame. You do not worry about judgment or comparison. If you want to speak English, speak aloud in your room. If you want to write, write freely, without showing anyone. If you want to record your voice, make videos, or practice any skill, start privately. Private practice allows you to fail safely. Every error becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes an opportunity to adjust, correct, and improve. The moment you remove shame and fear from learning, your growth skyrockets. You begin to learn 10 times faster, because each failure is transformed into a stepping stone toward mastery. Failure also teaches patience, humility, and resilience. Every failure reminds you that success is not immediate and that mastery requires consistent effort. You learn to observe carefully, experiment repeatedly, and persist. Despite setbacks, failure sharpens problem-solving skills, because it forces you to find creative solutions. Every polymath master or high achiever has failed hundreds, even thousands of times. Their failures were not obstacles. They were lessons, bridges to their eventual success. Without failure, their growth would have been limited. Without mistakes, their skills would have remained shallow. Failure exposes weaknesses, challenges assumptions, and builds strength. It is a teacher that no classroom, book, or mentor can replace. The truth is simple. Failure is your greatest teacher, not your enemy. If you stop fearing mistakes and allow yourself to experiment, try, and fail, you will grow faster, smarter, and stronger than most people. You will develop confidence because you will understand that errors are part of the journey, not a sign of defeat. You will see that every failure is feedback guiding you to adjust, improve, and succeed. Mastery comes not to those who avoid failure but to those who seek lessons in every mistake. To master anything in life, you must embrace failure, learn from it, and use it to propel yourself forward. Fear stops learners. Courage builds masters. Be fearless. Fail boldly. Learn relentlessly, grow continuously, and keep moving forward because every failure brings you one step closer to mastery. Method 6. Mental models. Think like a polymath. Polymaths do not just focus on learning skills. They focus on learning ways of thinking. While most people gather information and try to memorize facts, polymaths understand that mastering a skill is not only about what you know. It is about how you think. They use mental models, powerful frameworks that help them analyze problems, make decisions, and learn new subjects faster. Mental models are like shortcuts for the brain. They allow you to see patterns, connect ideas, and solve challenges efficiently. Ordinary people often approach every problem in the same way, relying on trial and error or copying what others do. Polymaths, on the other hand, select the right thinking tool for each situation. This is what makes them unstoppable, creative, and able to learn multiple skills at an extraordinary pace. Some of the most powerful mental models are simple but transformative. The first is the 80-20 rule, also called the Paro principle. It states that 20% of actions produce 80% of results. Polymaths use this principle to focus on the most important parts of any skill or project first. They do not waste time on minor details that give little benefit. By focusing on what matters most, they achieve rapid progress without burning out. Second, there is first principles thinking. Instead of copying others or following common advice, polymaths break every idea into its most basic truths and then build from there. This allows them to discover innovative solutions and understand concepts at a deeper level. They do not rely on assumptions. They rely on facts and reasoning. This type of thinking is the foundation of innovation and problem solving. Another critical mental model is the Feynman technique, named after the famous physicist Richard Feynman. It says that if you cannot explain something simply, you do not truly understand it. Polymaths constantly use this technique to check their understanding. They teach, write, or explain what they learn in the simplest language possible. This strengthens memory, comprehension, and communication. Then there is compound learning, which highlights the power of small daily improvements. Learning for just a few minutes every day, repeated over months and years, compounds into massive knowledge and skill. Polymaths embrace this principle because they know mastery is a marathon, not a sprint. Finally, they rely on feedback loops. Take action, get results, analyze, and improve. By constantly testing, evaluating, and adjusting, they accelerate learning and avoid repeated mistakes. Feedback loops make learning precise, focused, and extremely efficient. When you apply mental models, your learning speed doubles. You make fewer mistakes, understand deeper ideas, and retain knowledge longer. Instead of feeling overwhelmed when learning a new skill, you approach it with a structured method. You can break problems into simpler pieces, prioritize what matters, test solutions quickly and continuously improve. Mental models are not complicated. They are practical tools anyone can learn. But when used consistently, they transform ordinary learning into extraordinary mastery. The ordinary learner uses one thinking pattern for everything. The polymath, however, adapts their thinking to the situation. They combine multiple models, select the right approach for each challenge, and become unstoppable. If you want to master anything in life, it is not enough to just practice. You must think like a polymath. Train your mind to use these models and you will discover that complex skills suddenly become simpler. Challenges become exciting and learning becomes faster and more effective than you ever imagined. Method 7. Teach what you learn. The master key. Here is perhaps the most powerful method of all. If you want to master something, teach it. Many people think teaching is only for experts or that you must fully understand a subject before sharing it with others. This is not true. Teaching is a tool for learning even for beginners. When you attempt to explain an idea, your brain is forced to organize information clearly. You cannot hide gaps in your knowledge. You must confront what you do not know and find ways to understand it. This process transforms ordinary practice into mastery. Every polymath understands this secret. They know that teaching is not a final step after learning. It is a part of the learning itself. Teaching makes your mind work differently. Instead of passively absorbing information, your brain becomes active, analytical, and deeply engaged. You see patterns, connections, and principles that are invisible to someone who only studies silently. Teaching turns surface knowledge into deep understanding. The beauty of teaching is that it does not require an audience of thousands or a title like expert. You can start small, and even small acts of teaching create enormous learning benefits. You can explain ideas to a friend, write notes in your own words, speak your understanding out loud, record short videos, or summarize what you learned in simple sentences. Each of these methods forces your mind to process information differently. Writing notes requires clarity and structure. Speaking out loud trains your ability to communicate and reinforces memory. Recording videos challenges you to simplify complex ideas. Summarizing lessons highlights gaps and strengthens understanding. Every time you teach, your brain moves from passive learning to active mastery mode. The subject stops being a collection of facts and starts becoming a system you can manipulate, understand, and apply. Teaching also helps you see the subject from the inside rather than the outside. When you learn passively, you often memorize steps or procedures without understanding why they work. When you teach, you must understand not only what works but why it works. You start noticing patterns and principles that guide every decision. You learn to connect ideas across different fields. For example, if you are learning English, teaching new vocabulary to a friend or explaining grammar rules aloud will make your understanding more intuitive. If you are learning business, teaching a concept forces you to see its logic, its limitations, and its application in real life. Teaching accelerates comprehension, strengthens memory, and builds confidence. This is why polymaths often teach what they learn, even while still mastering it. They understand that teaching is the fastest way to achieve depth. Finally, teaching develops a mindset of mastery. You no longer see learning as passive consumption. You see it as creation, explanation, and application. Every lesson you teach reinforces knowledge, and every question your students ask forces you to think critically. This cycle of learning, teaching, and refining knowledge creates exponential growth. Polymaths are not faster learners because they are naturally talented. They are faster because they teach, explain, and share consistently. Teaching transforms a student into a master. It is the final step that converts effort into expertise. If you Want to truly master any skill? Make teaching a daily habit. Explain. Summarize, share, and simplify what you learn. By doing so, your brain enters mastery mode and learning becomes effortless, deep, and permanent. Teaching is not just a method. It is the master key to mastery itself. Final message. Mastery is not magic. It is a system. Now you know the truth. Mastery is not about talent, luck, or being naturally gifted. Mastery is about following a system that works every time if applied consistently. It is about using the right methods over and over, refining your skills, and building momentum through action. When you follow the 7 methods we discussed, you will become unstoppable. You will learn faster, think deeper, and grow stronger. You will become someone who can master any skill you desire, whether it is English, business, writing, communication, fitness, or any area of life you want to excel in. These methods are not shortcuts or tricks. They are the principles that every polymath, every high achiever, and every expert uses to reach mastery. Remember these 7 powerful methods. Fall in love with learning. Learn by doing. Practice small daily through microlearning. Rotate multiple skills. Embrace failure. Use mental models. And teach what you learn. If you consistently apply these rules, you will rise above the average. You will become a rare individual, someone who can learn anything quickly, adapt to any situation, reinvent yourself continuously, and grow without limits. This is exactly what we teach at English Achievement. How to unlock your full potential, build unstoppable habits, and become a polymath in life. By using these methods, your brain, your skills, and your mindset all start working together like a finely tuned machine. Your future is in your hands. Your skills are your weapons. Your mind is your greatest power. Mastery is not a mystery, and it is not reserved for the lucky few. It is a system you can follow, a system that works for anyone willing to commit. Start today. Apply these methods every day. Fall in love with learning. Take action. Embrace mistakes. And teach what you learn. Master anything. Master everything. Master yourself. The journey is yours and the results are unstoppable. Be sure to subscribe to our channel for more such videos. Thanks for watching.